Don't you wish you bought Pinocchio when you had the chance? Wouldn't you love to have Lady and the Tramp in your collection? Now they're gone, and time's running out for Cinderella, too.
Beauty and the Beast on video is about to disappear. After April, Disney will no longer be selling Beauty and the Beast on video.
Because
Buy
Disney
now
will
while
stop
supplies
selling
last.
The Fox and the Hound and Snow White.
It's your last chance to truly capture Tarzan on March 31st. Disney will start showing his time.
Because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yo, this is ZeroEchoZenith, coming to you live at time of recording. And it's been a long time coming, but I finally wanted to speak about this topic. The fear of missing out. You may have seen something on your feeds during your perpetually online life about some kind of product, switch to, or a concert, or movie, or a trip. And an idle thought appears in your head that you kind of wanted to experience those things yourself, and you can't help but feel left out. It's a pretty subjective topic, as it affects everyone differently depending on how someone has lived their life, and how their relationships with others might affect how they feel. So let's get into it. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is the feeling or the perception that other people are finding fulfillment in their lives or having experiences and fun, showing that they're living a life that is better than your own. Did you catch that? It's the perception that other people are living like a more fulfilling life. Just because someone goes on a cruise doesn't mean that they didn't take out that third mortgage on their house. Well, you don't know that because they framed their lives to be perfect. The concept of the fear of missing out has been prevalent in our culture and societal structure for as long as there's been advertising. Everything from sales for commodities to limited time events. We as humans want to build our lives around experiences and memories and try to find contentment in the things that we do or obtain in our life paths. It's the psychological tendency that we fear that we'll never experience certain things in our life, especially when we compare ourselves to the experiences of others, and the feelings that fight against our sense of self that can influence our decision-making. It may make us feel inadequate, or like we won't be happy unless we do something similar when we see these people doing things or having things. When did this first start appearing, and how has it transformed with social media? Well, you have the legendary car commercials where they're like, sale, 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 Sunday, 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 limited time offer only, limited time offer, get 40% APR or less, 0% APR for the first year, don't worry about your car insurance. It would be things like limited time sales on clothes, toys, cars, or limited time events like movies, concerts, gallery exhibitions, conventions.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones.
Theatrical shows, and seasonal products and promotions too. Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Turtle Day, Talk Like a Pirate Day, Yarg, Leif Erikson Day. People don't decorate for Leif Erikson Day. But stuff like this is really only based in reality. With the rise of social media, however, that has pretty much taken its deep roots into our society on the internet. Social media's lifespan has condensed the sense of FOMO with people framing and showing off their perfect lives. You'd always see things off of Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, no one uses Facebook anymore, and Discord, which most people now use as their main form of social app. And yes, of course, you have YouTubers and Twitch streamers. Hi, YouTube. Now that we kind of have a basis for what FOMO is, let's talk about how it's affected gaming in current year culture. So I'm going to ask a very pointed question. Who mainly uses FOMO in games, and how do they do it?
Hello, I like money.
Why? Game developers, of course. Mostly in the AAA market, free-to-play market, and the mobile game market. Oh yeah. Before I get a commenter that's going like, well, look, excuse me, I need to blah, 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 blah. I will preface by saying that yes, free-to-play games need to have money in order to keep their servers open. Yes, the developers need to get paid. Yes, I understand. Same thing with the mobile game market because usually mobile games are free-to-play as well. I understand that. It's the way and how they are used in a predatory sense that I'm going to be talking about. Oh, and for the record, for AA games and indie games that use DLC as supporter packs in order to give the developers more money because usually they have very small teams, they usually do that for the love of the game and the love of their fans. You guys keep doing that. You're good. Keep doing it. No, yeah, I fully support you. How do video game developers use FOMO? I'm just going to start rattling off a lot of things now. In-game stores. Yes, in-game stores. I don't care. I'm saying it. In-game stores. In-game stores containing things like skins, costumes, fashion items, weapon skins, and things like that. The way how it's done is you see someone with a skin with special effects on it that looks really cool. It has really high quality, new unique animations, crazy things like that, and the skin is of your favorite character. You can't not want to get your hands on that. That looks so cool. However, there's no other way to get the skin unless it's in the shop. And to put more emphasis on the urgency to buy it, there's a big timer right next to it that tells you how long it's in the shop. Once it's gone forever! Or you may just never know if it will return. Your mind reacts that you aren't able to enjoy the game enough unless you get that skin or item. And this is further impacted by the fact that not a lot of people may have it, adding to its value in your eyes, meaning you could have something special that not a lot of people have. This feeds on the cycle of players enabling other players to spend on a free-to-play game. A fun way to make your players spend on multiple currency packs at one time in order to afford the cosmetics that they want is by making them give slightly less currency than they need to purchase the cosmetic, forcing them to buy another currency pack in order to afford the item, and likely ends up with a player having some currency left over. They then later see a new skin, they notice that they still have currency left over from the last time that they spent money on a currency pack, and they're like, oh wow, wait, if I just get this currency pack, I'll have enough currency to get the new skin. And then they pay for a third currency pack. Do you see the pattern? Moving on from the in-game shop, we have pre-ordering. Oh yeah, never pre-order. Remember? Never pre-order. I still pre-order sometimes. But yes, pre-ordering. Deluxe editions. Multiple tiers of deluxe editions. You have gold, deluxe, supreme, special, collector's editions, ultimate editions, and everything in between. Who can forget early access to games for pre-ordering as well? Pre-ordering games usually have in-game bonuses that add special content that you can't get in the base game. They sometimes release it as content later on, after like 2 to 4 years after the game's been around. And then we really don't want to talk about it. And then we move on to battle passes. I don't want to talk about battle passes. I'm not a fan of most battle passes. So battle passes are seasonal-based reward tracks that give you things as you play the game and earn seasonal experience. Usually part of a live service game, and every season comes with a new battle pass to put your time and effort into to get all of the items on your track. Battle passes usually have tiers. You get the free basic track, and then you have the paid track. Sometimes with multiple tiers in the paid track too. The standard track for battle passes gives you a basic reward structure, which normally doesn't contain anything noteworthy. But then when you just pay $10 more, then you can unlock all of the other stuff that you could possibly get for that season. Or if you want these legendary skins that is only part of the ultimate tier of this battle pass. 40 bucks. 40 bucks. Give me 40 bucks. You want those 2 skins of your favorite characters, right? Right? You want to look cool while you play your game, right? You don't want to have a default look for your character. What are you, poor? There are 2 games that have very fair battle passes though, and that'll be Deep Rock Galactic and Helldivers 2. Go look them up, they're very cool. They take old items from previous seasons and put them in like crates that you can collect in Deep Rock, and in Helldivers 2 they have the permanent battle pass system. Loot boxes, remember these things? Battle passes killed them because everybody rightly freaked out over them. It was very justified backlash. So loot boxes are boxes of loot. It's a percentage chance to get something of value, but most of the lower rarity items or cosmetics aren't great, meaning you either need to play a lot to try and earn more of those loot boxes, or just buy them from the in-game shop to try and get that shiny new weapon skin with the light effects. Ooh, ah. Ironically, in hindsight, Overwatch 1's loot boxes were the most fair loot boxes. They were. They honestly were. And you could save up currency that you would get from duplicate items from these loot boxes, and then when a seasonal event would come around, you just buy the skin that you want with the saved up currency. They even put loot boxes back in Overwatch 2 because people missed them. They missed them. Can you believe that? They actually wanted the reward structure from Overwatch 1 in Overwatch 2 when they're like, oh, we're done with that. Battle passes it is. And people are like, no. Please, we want to feel like we're earning something instead of shelling out money for another battle pass. Fortnite battle pass. Next we have limited time events. Things like themed content or collaborations with other IPs. Now, those are especially fun because these things almost never come back because of the contracts between different companies. They would have to renew them in order to re-release those kinds of like cosmetics or skins that players can't get anymore. Most of the time, when they're gone, they're straight up gone. You can never get them again. Even for regularly themed content, you don't know if those items that are only available during this thing that's happening will ever come back. You have no idea if the developers are going to re-release those same items with the same event. And since you only have a limited time to get those things, it pulls you away from real life out of your own time. Anytime you have for yourself, you probably put towards these time-sensitive grinds, if you're able to get those items through playing the game and not buying them. And I'm gonna talk about Gacha Games for like 2 seconds. In the mobile game market, Gacha Games have premium currency used to roll for powerful characters in a game in order to like trivialize content or to perform better in PvP modes. The difficulty of content increases over their lifespan, leading to something known as power creep, because the developers release stronger and stronger characters that can more easily meet the challenges present that may lead players into spending more to avoid missing these new characters, or character banners as they're called, because they rotate in and out, increasing and decreasing the percentage that they'll get them when they roll for that character. Or it's simply just the designs of the characters that people like and they just want to collect them. Now, there's also usually a way to get the premium currency, but you're required to play the game every single week, practically. Even every single day, at least 15 minutes to an hour or so. And if you miss those chances to get the premium currency by playing the game for free, you might miss that special banner, unless you pay for a currency pack in order to roll for that character. Now, yes, there are pity timers to where you're able to eventually get that character, but a lot of the time, you're almost expected to get multiple copies of that character in order to more competitively use them in certain game modes. Because when you get the character more than once, you can combine them and then they'll get new abilities and everything. So it's still adding to the fear that you won't get that character to the highest potential that they can unless you get more copies of said character. And you know, I really only barely scratched the surface of how mobile games try to get you to spend money on them. And there's even a lot more about Gacha Games too, but I just picked one example out of that mountain. So there's that. So I think I've pretty much explained most, if not all, of the tactics that game developers use in order to try and drive a sense of fear into people to try and spend more money. Why do they do this? Money! It's the encouragement of further spending on digital goods, of course. I will say it a second time. Yes, I understand for free-to-play games, you need to be able to pay the developers. You need to be able to pay for the servers. I understand that. But nowadays, cosmetics have just gotten way too expensive. $10 to $30 is now the common price for a lot of these skins. It also encourages player engagement for having people play the game for a lot longer than they normally would if they're able to get, you know, premium coins to then go spend on cosmetics. You're either paying them in your money or your time, and there's no in between, and they win every time. Overwatch, RIP, Apex Legends. Do people even play Apex anymore? Counter-Strike, Fortnite, of course. That is the Battle Pass game. Marvel Rivals, Halo Infinite. Now, who could forget Dota, Valorant, and, of course, League of Legends? Look at that. But $450? What? Even the cheaper version's like over 200. Games like that. For those of you that are saying, cosmetics don't matter. Cosmetics don't change the game in any way. That doesn't pertain to me. I don't care. I just want to play the game. Rad. I'm someone that says that cosmetics are a part of the game. If you put most of your cosmetics into the shop, that takes away part of what the game is. You should be able to earn most of the cosmetics just by playing. Customizing how you look is part of a video game. And I will stand by that. Now we're at that point of the video where I talk about how it affects people in the long term. Well, the first and most immediate change would be having a low self-esteem and your image of self-worth. All forms of fear of missing out, regardless if you're playing a game or not, kind of make us feel inadequate. They just do. We may feel like we're never doing enough if we're not doing what popular or successful people do. And this can be paired with having jealousy for them, whether we want to admit it or not. Unfortunately, jealousy can also fuel our actions. Because if you're seeing someone who has been able to put in much less work than you in something, and they're way more successful than you, or at least it seems that way, while you're over here trying to put in way more time and effort and work into what you're doing with only a fraction of the return, it can get at you. It really digs deep, and disconnecting from that feeling can be difficult. Do I feel that way? Sometimes. Yeah, I admit that. I'm sure anybody would. Another way is impulse buying. I don't have to really explain that. I'm just going to put up a graph. Hot new product. See person with hot new product. Feels FOMO. Buys hot new product. Rinse and repeat. Happens every time.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Another way is constant dopamine chasing. Like getting the new flavor of the month game that everybody and their grandparents are playing, only to never end up finishing it. Or the newest PNG anime chick comes out and she screen clears enemies way faster than all the other characters that you have, and her design is amazing. So you throw all of your pocket money and probably some of your paycheck at her to try and roll. All of these things give you the good feels and you don't want it to end, so that's why you keep chasing that feeling. And it's also the fear of judgment from others. Again, this doesn't have to do with gaming. This can be in real life or online. It doesn't matter. But for those who are entrenched in social media that see the people living a certain lifestyle, the fear that if they themselves can't do certain things, have certain things, wear certain clothes, or can't show that they have a great life, that they'll be seen as a lesser person compared to others, which enforces FOMO altogether. Sometimes friendships can cause these feelings as well, even if they don't mean to towards you, and vice versa, even if you don't mean to cause these feelings to them as well. It just depends on your relationship with others. And yes, even parasocial relationships can contribute to FOMO. Never wanting to miss a video or a stream and be able to talk with the streamer and the people that are in chat and be a part of their community and have shared experiences with everybody. Otherwise, you definitely feel left out. There's actually more to this that I'll talk about in a moment. I want to move on to ways of letting go of FOMO. There are some ways to try and train yourself to let go of the fear of missing out, and that would just be to cut things out. Get away from them. Easier said than done. Just stop going on there. Duh. Stop using social media. Duh. Stop going on those pages. Duh. Yeah, it's way easier said than done. That's the obvious, you know. Just stop being sad. Another way is forcing yourself to miss exclusive or time-sensitive events, especially if the things that come out are meant for like your favorite character or certain items or cosmetics or whatever. It'll immediately de-incentivize yourself to keep coming back to that carrot on the stick, that infinite treadmill. It'll actually break the cycle, it really does. It has actually helped me in the past. You can also just straight up ask yourself the question, will you feel real fulfillment if you put dozens of hours into grinding these time-limited events? And also, doing this stuff is hard, alone. So you could also tell those that you care about your feelings of being left out and try to spend more time together, which is also easier said than done. Or if it's off of someone from social media, to ask for help to stop comparing your self-worth with people that you'll never even meet in your entire life. Not to mention that the perfect image that these people are showing to the world does not reflect what their actual lives are. They might just be having a pretty tough time in their entire life too. They just don't want anyone to know it. In my own personal experience, I tried playing multiple MMOs and mobile games all at the same time. I was playing World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, and Warframe, trying to manage all of those games at once. I really only logged in for raids for WoW. I did events in Final Fantasy XIV only. I didn't really continue the storyline through like the first part of Shadowbringers. I only logged in for events and daily rewards from ESO, and I barely really touched on Guild Wars 2. And yes, I was just grinding infinitely in Warframe. And I was trying to play like 3 or 4 mobile games all at once. I wasn't doing anything else. I just didn't want to miss out on all of the limited time exclusive rewards that may never even come back. So I felt like I became a slave to all of those games. I never shared my experiences with anyone besides occasional guild stuff in WoW, but there was no one to talk to. I didn't really feel a connection to any community that I was in. I was starting to feel pretty miserable. To remedy this pit that I had dug, a lot of what I had to do was just cutting them out cold turkey and trying to find different hobbies to fill the time. One of those hobbies is making videos and streaming, and I've felt happier for it. Plus, doing this allows people who just want to watch something like, I don't know, a game being played to do so, as they can check it out for themselves or watch other things on this channel. It's also less expensive and doesn't really force you to commit to a game or a platform. Now, to circle back around and talk about communities again, they can be good. They can be beneficial. Not all of them, but most of them, yeah, both in person and online. Depending on the worth that you place on them, they can definitely build friendships instead of making you feel left out. There's nothing wrong with wanting to join a community with people who are into something. Finding a streamer who hangs out with their chat can be fun. It's one of several ways that we can connect in an internet space. For no reason at all, I'd like to point out that I currently stream on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. But that's how we are as humans, and I've already brought this up in my first video about Animoya, wanting to be a part of something with other people. It's wanting to be socially connected. Another positive example is that it can act like a drive to help you try something new that you wouldn't normally do, like going to that one party, trying out a new food, or getting a game that your friend also has to be able to play with them, and you both end up having a really great experience together. You might just meet some really cool people if you take that step forward and potentially create new friends. From here, I guess the fear of missing out turns into motivation to experience life more optimistically. For this video specifically, I can also identify what has been happening to gaming culture over the last 20 years. Limited time deals and events have always been used in reality, but the manipulation tactics being used in live service games and even single-player games has damaged the scope of game development in our culture, leading to an environment of impulsive decision-making through the fear of missing out. We kinda need to take a step back and understand that, in the end, these are only just games. I mean, you know, they have kind of shaped our entire culture in many aspects, so there is that. But don't worry about it. Ultimately, it's not really going to matter 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. It all depends on how you choose to live your life. I mean, you know, besides games preservationists lamenting over the fact that once update servers go down, they won't actually be able to access most DLC in a lot of games. There have been reports coming out that like 80% of games, 70% of games are non-accessible and don't have a way to get them back. But yeah, it won't matter probably. I'm still dealing with FOMO to this day, everybody. And I've had to come to terms with a lot of things. I'm not perfect. I bought a Switch too. This is ZeroEchoZenith signing off. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next time. I don't feel FOMO. No, not at all. I don't feel FOMO that I was going to miss out on the Switch 2 if I didn't get it. No, not at all. No. The price is okay. It's not that bad. I can recoup that cost. You know, it's okay. I'm still working. It's all good. Haha.